You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities, Monday, September 15th. Thank you guys for joining us wherever you are around the Quad Cities, the state of Iowa, state of Illinois. Appreciate you guys taking the time to chat with us here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. A lot to get to. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate that. Continue to do that. Also, make sure you're subscribed and tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day, 10 a.m. Right here in the Quad Cities. If you're watching us live on X, we appreciate that. X has been very, very good to us. So if you're watching on X, thank you. Give us your feedback, all those kind of things. Share the show as well. And then, of course, you can check out the show on the podcasting platforms, any show every single day. You don't have to look at my ugly mug. You can go check out the show on Spotify, on Apple, you name it. Podbean, iHeart, anywhere you get your podcasts, check it out. Just put in Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We want to thank everyone who's watched our special show on Saturday. That was Saturday night. Well, really, it was Sunday morning. It was like 12:45 on Sunday morning, and myself and Tom Kakert broke down history at Kinnick Stadium. We'll continue to do that today. But we did that it was almost 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had a couple thousand people watching, which was crazy. So thank you guys for watching that. Also broke down a little bit about Illinois and Iowa State and Notre Dame and all that kind of stuff late in the morning before I went to bed. And then, of course, thank you to the guys from View from the West, filled in for I don't know, filled in because I like to be part of the show already. So, but Mitch was off on Friday. So myself, Ty Taylor, Greg Armstrong, a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, View from the West Instant Reacts is a show we do every single Friday night, 10:15, breaking down high school football, giving you the stats, scores, talking to coaches. It's a lot of fun. So go check it out from last week, and then also join us this week again as well. So obviously it was a very interesting weekend of sports, especially football, all over the area, all over the Quad Cities, all over the Midwest. You had high school on on Friday, college on Saturday. NFL took center stage yesterday. I'm going to try to behave myself today. We will get to the Bears and my Lions and the dismantling that was at Ford Field, but I don't want to scare everybody away, so we're not going to talk about it right away. But we will get to that in just a little bit. We do have a jam-packed show today. Coming up in just a little bit, we had history at Kinnick Stadium. Kirk Ferentz and the Hawkeyes, Iowa winning 47-7. Kirk Ferentz with victory number 206. The most wins all time by a Big Ten coach. We'll have Julian Vandervelde, former Iowa Hawkeye, former offensive lineman, join us here in a little bit to kind of talk about not just Saturday night, but the legacy that Kirk has left, his experiences with him, some great stories. So Julian Vandervelde right around the corner to kind of talk about a special night at Kinnick Stadium. That's just in a matter of moments. Also, the Fighting Illini continue to win. They win 38-0. Everyone not happy about the way it looked, but it was ugly in the first half. They only led 10-0 at the half. They won 38-0. They did what they had to do. It was that trap game between a big road victory and then now what sets up to be a huge game on Saturday night. Indiana versus Illinois. It's not basketball. It's football. It's one of the biggest games in the country. It's Saturday night. I think NBC. So we'll talk with Mike Cagley from the Illini guys coming up in just a little bit about the 9th-ranked Fighting Illini in the AP poll, the 8th-ranked Illini in the coaches poll. We'll get to some rankings here in just a little bit. Awesome weekend of high school football. Already talked about that. Some amazing individual performances. And we're going to be joined by a duo from Orion that rewrote the record books there. Kale Filler, their quarterback, and Owen Voorhees, their wide receiver. Their numbers were amazing. 6 touchdowns for Filler. I believe 6 touchdowns as well for, I think, 5 and 6. Anyways, they scored a ton of touchdowns, all those kind of things. So those two will join us in a little bit to talk about their historic Friday night. And then, of course, look ahead. They have a big game coming up against Newman this Friday as well. So a little high school football to get to. John Marx will be along in hour number 2 as well. We'll talk more about his beloved Bears and my Lions and what happened at Ford Field and the ass kicking that the Bears got at the hands of the Lions. And it was personal. It was very personal. They did run the score up, and there was reasons why. We'll get into all of those coming up in just a little bit as well. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to weigh in on the chat, do that as well. If you want to yell at me for being an annoying Lions fan, I love it. Bring it on. But Caleb didn't look great. Bears offense didn't look great. Defense looked awful. Lions looked the part. They put up 52 on their former offensive coordinator. The guy that was supposed to be the reason why they were so good for all those years. So there was definitely some messaging and all of that as well. So all of that, plus we have your Skiles Drive of the Week. We'll go back to the high school football Friday and take that drive and kind of highlight an awesome drive from Friday night brought to you by Skiles Driving School in East Moline, a proud sponsor of Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. So all of that coming up within the next 2 hours. A lot to get to. But first, we want to do a little bit of news and notes, and we want to start with the polls that are out. And there you can see Illinois at number 9 in the poll. They stay at 9. They got leapfrogged by, I believe, Florida State. So Illinois stays at 9. They're 8 in the coaches poll. They get ready to take on number 19, Indiana. So number 9 at number 19 on Saturday night. Mike Cagley will be around to talk about that. We're going to do a lot of Illini this week. We'll have Mike today, Ken Prince later in the week as well, and then Jim Madsen. We'll get him to join us as well to set up what should be a fantastic game on Friday night between two teams that really do feel like they can be in the college football playoffs. When you look at Illinois and Indiana, you look at the Big Ten, and Ohio State 1, Penn State 2. There you got Oregon at 6. So half of the top 6 is from the Big Ten. Most likely the conference is going to get those 3 or a semblance of 3 right there. And everyone thinks they'll get 4. Who will 4 be? Will it be Illinois? Will it be Indiana? Michigan's playing well, although they do have 1 loss right now already. Heck, Iowa can get things rolling in the right direction. Opportunities with Penn State and Oregon on the schedule and Indiana on the schedule. All 3 of those games at Kinnick Stadium. So, so much to look forward to. There's USC sitting there at number 25. Everyone's sleeping on them as well. You see Notre Dame tumble. They're now 24th. They are 0-2 after a 41-40 loss to Texas A&M. So 2 quality losses. You look at Illinois, they lost to, Notre Dame. They lost to number 4 Miami, and they lost to number 10 Texas A&M. And both, I believe, one-score games. So still things in front of them. I don't know if 10-2 enough to get them into the playoff. We'll see how everything works with that, but they'll get things right. Marcus Freeman's a really good head coach, so they'll get things corrected in South Bend as well. We also talked a little NFL football, and that was awesome. It was flat out. Actually, let's stay quickly with college, because it was a big night at Kinnick Stadium, and I got to, I did the Hawkeye tailgate show, so spent the evening at Kinnick Stadium, and then afterwards got down on the field, of course, for what was an awesome moment, just an absolutely great moment. Anthony Herron to interview Coach Ferentz, a former player, to interview him afterwards. There's emotional Kirk. And something you don't see very often here is obviously there's those guys that weren't even born yet when Kirk Ferentz took over at the University of Iowa. Hadn't even been born yet, and you could tell how much they love him. And then I don't know if Kirk's ever done that. He led the Swarm back into the locker room, which is pretty darn cool. So a really cool moment at Kinnick Stadium, and we'll talk about that with Julian coming up in just a minute as well. So awesome moment at Kinnick Stadium. Iowa gets the victory. NFL again real quick. Bears, very frustrating. They now play Dallas next week, another team that's 0-2 and needs a victory, so that'll be interesting. The Chiefs are 0-2 as well. So the NFL, fascinating. A doubleheader for Monday Night Football coming up tonight. So 2 more games to get to. And if you're wondering on our Nest Guests, thank you guys. If you haven't joined Nest Guests, shame on you. Get there, start doing it. Great stuff. More people this week than last week, which is an awesome thing. But I think Nest got me again. We'll get to more of that coming up later in the week as well. But let's get our Monday rolling. Let's talk Iowa football. Let's talk history. And let's get joined by our good friend Julian Vandervelde. So let's talk a little Hawkeye football and history with a guy who played for said Kirk Ferentz and watched said Hawkeyes on Saturday night. Our good friend Julian Vandervelde joins us here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. You look so good. You always do yourself up nice for me. I appreciate that.
I do my best, man. I know some people watch this, so I want to make sure that I'm presenting myself in a way that is respectful of you and your viewers.
Everybody watches this. It's the hottest show in the history of the world, Julian, of the world.
Yes.
What was Saturday night like for you to see that guy? And the beauty part about it for me was it was a program award, because how Kirk is, everything is players, staff, family, all that kind of stuff. What was Saturday night like for you when it came to Kirk Ferentz becoming the Big Ten's all-time winningest coach?
It's when you're a part of it, to be one of the guys on the field that night, I think is a remarkable thing, and I hope that those guys don't take it for granted. I'm sure every one of them, obviously remembers this forever. As a former player who's thought of Kirk as this kind of unattainable figure, and then a mentor and a coach, and and to get to know him a little bit as a person, and the love that he has for everybody. Somebody asked me, I was at my wife's 20-year high school reunion last night, and somebody asked me, if you went back to the football complex, went back to Iowa, do you think Kirk would remember who you are? I don't have to think about it, man. I go back maybe 2-3 times a year, right? Tops. Coaches clinic, maybe I'll go see a game, right? Alumni event, something like that. He knows every player who's walked through those doors. He asks about your family. He's, it's never football. It's your personal life. It's how you're doing, how your parents are doing, right? The people that he talked to when he was recruiting you, he still remembers all that stuff about everybody. It's such a personable family relationship, and you love it. It's like when you're a parent, this, right? Your kid's getting an award, you feel prouder than you would if you were getting that award yourself. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that in reverse, right? It's like when my grandpa retired, and he was honored for being, a radiologist for, decades and decades and decades. When somebody that you love and respect is being honored, you feel that more intensely. And so that was one of those things. It was just like, man, because we all knew it was going to happen, right? This season, we knew it was going to happen. It was like, well, is it going to be game 2? Is it going to be game 3? Right? When is it? But we all knew it was going to happen. And it just, it does hit you different. It's like, man, thank God, right? Thank God he's the kind of, that was my first thought was, he's such the right guy, right? He's not a dick. He's not like, he's not a self-centered, narcissistic, like a-hole. Like, he is the kind of person who deserves to be the Big Ten's winningest coach. And so you just feel like it's right. Thank God it's that he's the guy. So that's how I feel about it.
No, absolutely. Well said. Julian Vandervelde joining us right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Julian, can you talk to me about him as a coach? And let me explain it a little more. Everybody thinks of him as head coach Kirk Ferentz, and that's what he was, and that's what he was for you. But it's been a minute. I don't know if you knew this. You didn't play there last year or the year before. It's been, 16 years now? Is that what we're looking at? 15. 2010 when he was last year, right?
I was going to say, I think 16 might be right. It's somewhere in that neck of the woods, yeah.
15, 16. What was he like on the field? And like, especially your position and you're an offensive lineman. That's what that's his bread and butter. What was he like as a coach on the field, X's and O's wise, teaching the craft of playing football?
Yeah. It's just the details, the ability to walk up and diagnose what you've been trying to figure out. It was always such a cool thing. That's what I remember. Like Coach Morgan, Grandpa Reese will always and forever, hold this space in the echelon of great men in my life. But there was always just something a little bit different when Kirk came over, and we'd have been doing indie or group work or something like that, and you're struggling to figure something out, or it's something about what you're doing isn't quite right. And then he comes over and it's just like 2 or 3 words. And he's diagnosed exactly what you're doing. He tells you exactly what you need to do, and then you go out the next rep and you do it, and he's right. His mastery of the craft as an offensive lineman, it was, it's not a religious experience is the right word, but it's just such a fine thing when you're a young, impressionable guy and you're trying to figure out how to play this game at the highest level. And here's the guy. And he, and he comes over and he just says, just do this, this, and this, and you do those things and it works. It builds a level of trust, right? That he knows what he's doing, lends credibility. But also the fact that he would take the time to do that, whether you were a first-year guy playing scout team, or a fifth-year senior, getting ready for the draft. Like everybody, he saw everybody, he diagnosed everybody. He always had, the right thing to say. And so as an offensive lineman, especially, it's like, man, how lucky, right? How lucky was I to have that opportunity to play for that guy?
Do you have a Kirk Ferentz moment off the field? So like Pat talked about almost not playing or not playing, and him kind of having a tough love, hey, we love you, but get your act together, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, honestly, and I'm not a player, but I remember the Brett Greenwood stuff, and I remember going up and to do a story with Brett and talking with Kirk about it, the passion in his voice and the emotion in his voice, just when I brought up Brett and how he found out and those kind of things, and watching what he does with that family still to this day, and the handwritten notes and all those kind of things. Do you have a Kirk Ferentz off the field moment or story that exemplifies what that guy is like?
Well, I'll tell you, it's not actually like with him, but I have in the last 5 years, we'll call it, I have inherited pretty much everything that my parents or grandparents ever kept that was mine, right? My mom, when her and my dad retired, they got her, or I got the tote, right? She had like 2 or 3 totes of every assignment I'd ever done in school, right? Every piece of artwork, everything that had ever been on the wall or on the fridge or anything like that. So I got that tote. And then recently we went up to my grandpa's cabin for the first time since his passing. And my grandmother gave me the box of stuff that he had kept in his office. And he's just like, this is everything that had to do, with you. I hope, you understand how much you meant, or how much you meant to him. And so between those two things, I've had so much fun sifting through them. And one common thing between the two of them is that I will find the letters. I'll find the handwritten letters from Kirk to both my parents and my grandparents, talking about me and thanking them for raising me the right way, or saying just a little piece here and there. Like, I remember getting the handwritten letters from him, but it's not just the recruit, right? He's even after I'm there, he's writing little notes to my parents and grandparents, telling them how I'm doing and asking them how they're doing, and thanking them for being a part of the Hawkeye family and allowing me to be there, allowing it's just such a, like, he goes so far beyond just you as a player and even you as a person. It's like your whole life is wrapped up in the kind of character that he is, that highest possible level of character and individual. It's wild, man.
That's amazing.
The things that you don't, and I don't know about it, right? You don't know in the moment because your parents don't necessarily tell you. My grandpa never told me or anything that that he was getting letters from Kirk or anything. But you find him, it's just like, man, he was really invested in every part of your life. He wanted to be a guy who wasn't just there for you on the field, but he really cared.
And the beauty thing is, that's not just for Julian Vandervelde, not to make it
right,
but like that's you're not the first guy that's told a story like that, because, and so think about that. It's magnified so much because of the amount of people and kids and players he did that for. Okay, let's go back on the field. Do you have I loved watching Kirk, and I think they said he's never done it before, but he swarmed with the players out after, and which is awesome to see. Just
so cool.
Chilling. Yeah, absolutely. But when you think about it too, he's had so many victories, and when it happens, just the emotion. I call it emotional Kirk. So does Caker and all that kind of stuff. We love it. Is there a victory with that guy that stands out in your mind, or I don't want to say celebration, but maybe a locker room moment, or y'all won a lot. Like, you were part of the Pat Anger proclaimed 2009 team, which was the greatest team in the history of the world. Yeah. So no, not just in the history of football, I think is where he's at now with it. But is there a game moment celebration on the field wise that you remember about that guy the most?
It's hard to pick one because basically every time because we did win a lot, which is cool. But there's the ones that just mean more, right? Like when we would play Pitt. Right, we played them twice, and those were big games, because of Kirk and his history up there. The big games when he would get emotional, when you knew it just meant more to him in the locker room after the game, because you don't see it before the game, right? The preparation's the same, the pregame meal's the same, the pregame speech is the same, the halftime speech, right? Like, all the stuff is so consistent across the board. But you kind of know the ones that mean a little bit more. And when he's given that post-game speech and he starts choking up and just everybody starts losing it, right? Immediately, like, everyone jumps in and you're hugging him and everybody's whooping and hollering, and it's like he'll get it out eventually. But man, when that veneer of just calm and even keel starts to break down, and the emotion starts coming out of him because we just did something that that we weren't supposed to do, or that just meant more. There's big games and big moments and turning points in seasons. Like, when he starts the waterworks, as it were, right? Okay. I don't know how you can be in that locker room and not feel it too. And so those are the most special moments, certainly those post game locker room moments where as you put it, where emotional Kirk comes out, because you don't expect it, right? Yeah. You never see it outside of those moments, and it's special. It's so special, man.
One more about Kirk, and then I want to talk to you about the actual football team, because I thought they took some steps forward. I know it was UMass, I get that, but I think they took some steps forward. Do you have any funny Kirk? Now, and let me tell you a quick story, and it wasn't even that funny, sure. But like, I love to make Coach laugh if you can. And he doesn't laugh, he snorts. He's like, he gives you one of those, right. And which is great. And like, it was right after Zach Johnson won the John Deere Classic. So he was down when Zach won, probably 2012, and he was there that summer. And then we were there for media day. And like I talked to him at the John Deere Classic. I said it was like a Thursday. It was like, oh my gosh, Kirk Ferentz is here. Let's go. So we went, and he was nice enough to do an interview and everything. And I asked him, I said, who's winning the John Deere Classic? And he goes, well, good pick, Zach Johnson. I'm not a pro, but I'm gonna go with, and he gave his little funny, and then he won. So we're doing our interview with him at Media Day, and I said, Coach, before I let you go, I got to give you full credit, because I asked you who's going to win the John Deere Classic on Thursday of the JDC, and you said Zach Johnson, and he went, and he just gives the biggest, and like Wheezy's my photographer, Scott Weiss, and he's just shaking because I got the snort, and we got done, we're like, we got the snort, like, so he is funny. He is, like, people don't realize, like, he's got a great sense of humor to him as well. Is there a funny Kirk Ferentz memory or moment you can talk about?
My favorite is always Santa Kirk. Every year during bowl prep, and we all it's coming. It's one of those things where it's like it's coming, but he's, again, because he's such like deadpan maybe isn't the right word, but it kind of is. I get it. It's not like he's going to make a big deal out of it or anything, but he's very even all the time, and so we would always look forward to it, like, oh, we got it's January 1st bowl game or whatever. We know we're going to be practicing, on Christmas. It's like, do you think he's going to wear the hat? Are we going to get to see Santa Kirk? And when he comes out, I don't know why, it's just a different sort of energy, right? When he comes out. And the funny thing about it to me is that he's exactly the same guy. The hat does nothing. Right? It's not like he comes out and he's making, he's like, ho, 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 and he's making jokes about it or anything like that. Absolutely not. Same exact Kirk. Yeah. He's just wearing a Hawkeye Santa hat. Wears it through the whole practice as if it's not even there. Right? Doesn't acknowledge at any point in time that it's even a thing, but we're all kind of like, looking at it like, hey, it's Santa Kirk. And for some reason, just the fact that he doesn't acknowledge it at all, I always just found that so funny. Like, there's no point to it. He doesn't need to be wearing it or anything. Yeah. It's not like it changes his demeanor, but he does right here. And I always just found that really funny.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. All right, Juice, before we let you go, I want to talk to you about the game itself on Saturday. And I think if Iowa played the way they played on Saturday against Albany, the entire nonsense of maybe the first 2 weeks of the woe is me, sky is falling stuff never happens. Does that make sense? When it comes to Iowa fans wanted to visually see everything go well, and Albany was just funky and weird, and then Iowa State cheated, right? And we both acknowledge that it was cheating. The double doink thing was a cheat. No, I'm kidding. But they got lucky, and then now you're here where you're at. What did you see on, because both they made a concerted effort to throw the ball. And I don't think it was to please George in the 15th row or Sally up in the club seats. It was, they needed to get their chemistry about themselves. He missed spring. He's trying to get it figured out and get on the same page. What did you see about the Iowa offense that you liked on Saturday night?
I think, so we used to say you make the biggest jump between week 1 and week 2. I don't know that was necessarily the case this year. Mm-hmm. And so that's always concerning, right? If the passing game struggles in week 1 were obviously very, very concerning. And so to go into week 2 and think, okay, well, we're going to make this massive leap, because that's usually how it goes, right? And if you don't take that big jump between weeks 1 and week 2, it's like, oh, this might be a long season, right? Just because there's still so many things that need to go right. And so many things that you need to work on. So I do think we made a bigger jump. Now, is this a team that we were supposed to, 50 burger? Yes, but there were little things here and there that well, first of all, Weejan, right? Love seeing the punt return. Anytime special teams is going well, you feel like Iowa football is back, right? When the special teams are going well, we're rolling. So that for me was a big thing, was just seeing that. And then I think we took a bigger jump between weeks 2 and weeks 3, especially in terms of the passing game and kind of the identity of the team, than we did between 1 and 2. And so does that continue, right? Do we continue to accelerate in terms of growth? Does Gronowski continue to get better, and get more comfortable and get on the same page with everybody? We certainly hope so. But just the fact that it wasn't stagnant, right? It wasn't the same team in week 3 as it was in week 2. That to me is exciting because it means, man, there's still more room for growth, right? The sky's the limit. I think in terms of how good this team can be, it's going to suck that we have another year where we go undefeated and Iowa State's the only team that we lose to. But at the same time, understanding that we're still kind of a work in progress. But if that progress comes a little bit more swiftly, I think we're going to be real happy at the end of the season.
I had 2 different people after you were on the Hawkeye Tailgate show with me say, I love listening to Julian Vandervelde talk about offensive line play. And so I'm going to ask you, probably for their benefit, but just in general, those guys up front really do dictate what happens. Obviously, it was a physical mismatch probably against UMass, but that's where it all starts for this team. I know that Gronowski and the receivers and running all that kind of stuff they're going to get, but it starts up front. And when I was playing downhill and on time and on schedule, everything just kind of flows. Those big guys played well once again, and Julian, they played good all year. They really have.
Yes. Yeah, I came into this season more excited for an offensive line than I have in a long time, I think. We have some age, we have some experience. Logan Jones and Dunk, they're highlight guys, right? They are, I think they have superstar potential. Bo Stevens was looking strong. Like, we had dudes who I really felt like were Iowa guys. There's a sort of edginess, a chippiness, a meanness. You get somebody with a mullet on the offensive line, you're already feeling pretty good about it. And so I think that's, if we stay healthy, that's going to be the biggest thing, right? Offensive line stays healthy, we're going to be productive on the ground all year. And it might not be Caleb Johnson breaking off, huge runs, sort of productive, but that's also part of the Iowa scheme is the clock control. Mm-hmm. And, if you're breaking off 80-yard runs, you're giving the other team the ball back. If you're cranking it down the field at 4 yards a pop and taking, 10 minutes off the clock at a time and limiting the other team's possessions, our odds of winning games goes way up. So that's where I'm really excited by the direction the offense is going, and specifically with the offensive line play and the idea that, we might have a little bit of a running back by committee, but as long as the guys up front are moving, we're gonna be all right.
All right, Julian.
You might be able to behind that line.
Before I let you go, last question. Big Ten play starts this week. It's weird. It's a Friday night. It's at Rutgers. I know they're excited. There was a few years ago they were excited for a Friday night game, and Iowa went in there and just destroyed them. I think they're going to play well. I think they're I think they're favored to win, but I think they're going to play well. What is it about Big Ten play? I know it's Rutgers, it's not like they got like Minnesota coming to town or a normal rival, but things get different. Things step up when conference play starts. What is it like going through that journey of the Big Ten? And you guys know it as players that it's Big Ten week, don't you?
Absolutely. It is definitely a different kind of game. It's a little bit different now, I think, because the conference has changed so much. Once upon a time, it was like, okay, well, there was a Big Ten style of football, and it wasn't, Oregon and USC and this West Coast Pac-12 sort of style.
Heck, even Indiana nowadays, slings it around. So yeah,
what they're running is crazy.
Yeah.
So there was, I think the biggest thing is physicality. You look for this ratchet in terms of physicality. Now, I will say, Matt Campbell's kind of taken state and has them playing at a much higher level. So that game is no longer just kind of it's a Big 12 opponent. They're going to play Big 12 football, which is, play absolutely no defense and spread the ball around and stuff like that. Like they're starting to really get behind their identity as well. But yeah, the Big Ten on Big Ten stuff, especially because it's the teams that you play every single season. Now there's whatever there is, 18 of us, so you're not going to play the same teams every single season. But you definitely expect a little bit more out of everybody, right? The level of competition, the level of physicality, the game plans get a little bit more complex. The defenses get a little bit stingier and stauncher. There's a little bit of, these guys, you've been playing against them, year in and year out. So there's a little bit of recognition sometimes in terms of the dude that's across from you. And so that's always been really cool. I definitely think that there's another step that we have to take when Big Ten football starts, because everybody's going to be ready for it. We got to be ready for it too.
Yeah, Kirk said that after the game. He's like, this was a nice step, but we have more steps to be made. I think they're going to make them. It'll start on Friday against Rutgers. It's a 7:00 start out at Rutgers. We're going to do our Hawkeye Tailgate show from Big Grove Brewery at 5 p.m. On Friday night in Iowa City. So come check us out. Julian, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. I knew you'd have good Kirk stories, and you did just that. Be well. I appreciate you. We're going to bug you again real soon because this is a lot of fun. Thanks, my man. Appreciate you.
Anytime, brother.
All right. That is Julian Vandervelde, former Hawkeye, talking about history at Kinnick Stadium on Saturday night as Kirk Ferentz became the all-time winningest coach in Iowa football history. We got more to get to. Coming up after the break, we're talking about the Illini, the 10th-ranked Illini, as they get ready for a huge primetime showdown at Indiana. And yeah, we're talking football. We're not even talking basketball. It's a football showdown, and we'll talk about it with Mike Cagley from the Illini guys. That's next, right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Thanks, big dude. Appreciate you. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with.
Give me the keys.
Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities, talking a lot of football here on a Monday. What a weekend it was. High school on Friday, awesome stuff. Saturday, we had records broken in Iowa City. Kirk Ferentz to top the list. But then we also had the Fighting Illini, the 8th-ranked Fighting Illini. When you look in the coaches poll, 9th-ranked Fighting Illini in the AP poll. Whichever way you look at it, Illinois has a top 10 football team, and they have one of the biggest games of the week, or this weekend, coming up on Saturday night when they go to Indiana. And joining me now to break it all down is my good friend Mike Cagley from the Illini Guys. That intro, and I know that it's nothing new now, but when you hear that, Mike, a top 10 ranked Fighting Illini football team, that's something you haven't heard around those parts in a long, long time. It's got to sound good.
Good is an understatement. It's fantastic. Iowa has had an incredible run over the last 40 years since Hayden got there, and certainly Wisconsin's had a great run since Barry Alvarez got there. And it seems like Illinois had things trucking when they had Mike White, but then John Makovic took over and went to Texas, and Illinois played, let's hire the worst coach we can find for a few decades. And now they got Brett Bielema, who many of us was like, oh my goodness, we've got a retread from Arkansas and Wisconsin. And yet you've seen the growth that he has had since he left Wisconsin. And I think the Arkansas experience helped him, but most importantly, and I've interviewed him a couple times now, you keep turning over the stones of what he's learned working with Bill Belichick. And I think that, coupled with he's a man who is very competitive and he's willing to change if it means he's going to win. And I think that combination has been fantastic. And then you had probably maybe the biggest game-changing moment of my life as a 58-year-old for the Fighting Illini, when Larry Geese drops $100 million on the football program. And Illinois, of course, has had Shad Khan, who's been a fantastic friend to the program. But Illinois' got maybe 20 billionaires, most of them out in Silicon Valley, that if you could get a few of those gentlemen motivated, Illinois wouldn't have to be behind anybody. I'm not saying they would be number one, but they could compete with anybody dollar-wise. And Josh Whitman is the type of guy who is very, very influential, and he is a very patient man who works a long-term plan. So we will see. But to get back to you, this reminds me of my youth, when in 1983, as a junior in high school, right there in Mahomet, very close to Champaign, we watched as Illinois beat 3 top 10 teams that season in Champaign: Iowa, Michigan, and Ohio State. I don't know if this team's going to be able to get to that level, but it brings back those memories. And I do think that Brett Bielema looks like the best coach of my lifetime as an Illini fan.
Yeah, it's amazing how relevant he's made the program. He's built it in the right way. We had Jim Metzen on Thursday, I think it was. We're talking about the Larry Geese donation and what it is, Mike. It's amazing because just a couple of years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, he donated $150 million to the to the business school, and you can see the impact that football's having. And Josh Whitman is the home run of all home run hires when it comes to athletic directors, and a lot of sports in Champaign are doing really good things. We can go down the list, and we did it the last week, but I think the thing is, football is the thing that, you know, is still top dog, and to get that kind, I've been down to Memorial Stadium or Geese Memorial Stadium plenty of times, and it's a good stadium, good environment when there's people, and I know that's the big thing is people got to get there for any environment to be good, but it can use some amenities, it can use some upgrades. Kind of talk about a little more in detail that $100 million and what allows this football program and this school to go do on the athletic level.
Well, it's funny because they were a little bit the details weren't fleshed out fully, so there's some flexibility with what can be done with that. But the assumption that most people make is that the horseshoe will be where they start working on it. I think you could bring those if you wanted to do a real rebuild down there, you could bring seats all the way to the back of the end zone and make that a nasty end zone for teams to have to play in, just like the students do in the other end zone. I do think, you know, you might, who knows, maybe you got to do something with the road outside of the stadium to create a bigger monstrosity for more people to sit. I think there's a lot of options there. And the other thing is I do think some of that $100 million may be used occasionally for talent acquisition, or however you want to say that. Brett Bielema's done this very much like Kirk Ferentz. You know, he's not winning games with 5-star players. He's winning games with 3-star players. You know, Tyler Heckel, you know, Heckel is from, you know, he played 8-man football, and people were like, or Tanner, I'm sorry. And people were like, why do you recruit a guy who plays 8-man football? And now you see what he's doing as a sophomore. Brett Bielema knew he could play football. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody else did. And so what would happen if he could suddenly land? I'm not saying Illinois is going to be Ohio State, but what happens if Illinois lands a 5-star every other year and you know, 3 or 4 4-stars to go with him? No. Well, if Bielema is good at picking out talent, you pick out the right 4-stars and an occasional 5-star, and that really helps elevate your program. And they might have the dollars. What he did, I think, that makes Bielema, this is where I have a lot of respect for him, is he really isn't, you know, one of those football coaches of, you know, past. He thinks about and analyzes stuff. And if you go back and take a look, he was one of the first coaches to focus solely, the guys with limited funds, to focus solely on just keeping guys that he needed to stick around to make the team better. Yeah. He was doing that long before you heard about it. And I think that was the key to some of his early success, is getting guys like Johnny Newton to stay an extra year, to help anchor that line so that you didn't have a year with holes. And so I think that is a real critical part. These dollars will allow Bielema, who's much more strategic of a thinker than people want to give him credit for. I think he will use it wisely, but as the Dallas Cowboy, you know, they prove on a yearly basis that having a lot of money doesn't mean you're going to go to win championships.
No, absolutely. It's funny when you mentioned the 8-man players, because Chad Greenway is one of the best linebackers in Iowa football history, played 8-man football. And we talked last week with Matthew Bailey's head coach up here at Moline. And those are the players that Iowa used to sneak through and get towards the end. And that's exactly what Brett did, knowing he had to wait till the end to offer him, because if he did, others were, and they might not get him. And they turned those kids. That's what Iowa's made a living on, turning those kids into NFL players, which Matthew Bailey, by the way, is going to be an NFL player as well. Mike Cagley joining me right now on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. what do you take out of Saturday? Illinois wins 38-0, kind of sleepwalked through half one. I know there was some crankiness, and I told people we had a little post show, and obviously I was in Iowa City working there, but in the press box I had my phone out watching some Illinois too, so I knew what I was talking about. Or I've gone back and watched the game, and it was a sleepy first half. And then they did what they're supposed to do as a top 10 team in the country. My opinion is it was off the big road win against Duke. We got Indiana that everybody's already talking about, and that's college football. It's the trap game. And so they kind of sleptwalk a little bit in the first half, and then Brett kind of reminded them nicely, or not so nicely, probably at halftime, and then they dominate the second half. What did you see against Western Michigan? What were your thoughts on Saturday's game?
Yeah, what I saw was this isn't your dad's or your granddaddy's Illini. This was a game that Illinois would have muffed in the past, and you would have saw a game that goes down to the last minute. Of course, in 2016, Western Michigan beat the Illini. So you would have seen Illinois come out of there with a game that shakes your confidence. Like, well, how did they only beat Western Michigan by a field goal in the last 2 minutes? Or it would be, my gosh, how did we fritter that loss away? And the funny thing about Brett Bielema and the thing that he has done is Illinois generally is beating the teams they're supposed to beat. And obviously nobody's perfect as a coach, but these teams that come in, that pay a little money to get to there, whether they're P5 or, whether you're getting people coming up, like Western from the lower ranks, Illinois is handling. And so they sleptwalked through a half. I think you're being kind. It was a 10-0 ugly half. Coach B still had his hand throbbing by the end of the game. He couldn't feel it except for a little bit of pain from whatever the whiteboard that he got mad and pounded. But the thing is they came out in the second half and took care of business. The biggest challenge they have is when you go up against Indiana, if you sleepwalk for a half, you're liable to be down 21-0. So you can't do that. The other thing I think is really interesting, and I'm going to be watching for this. Luke Altmaier made a comment about when Illinois played Duke and they had that rough first half, and he said, well, we played Western Illinois the week before, and Duke was a lot faster than Western Illinois was, and they were a lot stronger, and we had to kind of speed ourselves up to deal with that. And I'm wondering, with the cream puff schedule that Indiana's played, if Illinois can find a way to start quick.
You're not impressed by that schedule, Mike? Come on.
Hey, look, you know what? Signetti was right when he said it's an SEC schedule.
That's true.
Because
that's what
if you take a look, you look at the first 35 years of my life, SEC teams never got out of the Southeast because they play all their bowls down there.
Yeah.
And then the last 15 years, 20 years, they've started to go play some home and aways with people. But you go back into the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s, and you never saw an SEC team play anybody. So when Signetti said I'm using an SEC schedule, it's a dated reference. And we'll see if they pay for it, but right now, Illinois or Indiana could really use this game as a leg up if they get into the point where they can get to the CFP. Mm-hmm. What people forget is Illinois supposedly has the 17th easiest schedule in the Big Ten, but that still means you're a top 35 schedule in the country. And so when they're done playing Indiana, they get to play USC, who some people have said, the national pundits are saying is woefully underrated at 25. Then you go play a Purdue team that every time Illinois plays them, it's a disaster waiting to happen. And then they go play Ohio State, and then they end up with Washington. So, and Iowa's got the same thing. There are some tough schedules.
There's no layups in this conference, Mike.
Not anymore.
Crazy. No, it's and that's the beauty of it. You don't have to go find. We kind of joke with Indiana. Illinois went and played Duke. Iowa plays Iowa State every year, but then Other than that, get a couple victories because you're going to get – there's no more layups. It's crazy. Mike Cagley from the Illini guys joining me right now. We talked about it last week a little bit. It's Illinois and Indiana. We talked about it before we went on the air here that, like, usually I'm like, oh, that's going to be a fantastic February game at the Assembly Hall or Safe Room Center or whatever it's going to be. It's two basketball schools playing really good football right now, and it's a nationally televised game Saturday night under the lights. When you start looking at it, and we can start looking at it now, it was, boy, that's the thing is last week I felt like I was wanting to talk about it. You had to get through and finish up with what you had to do. What does, you mentioned early or slow starts for Illinois, which has happened last couple weeks. Playing up in competition for Indiana. Yeah, they looked fantastic. They scored 73 points, all those kind of things. They played Indiana State. What are the storylines that you see as you head in that can be factors to which team kind of takes that step? Because I'll add this, Mike. I do look at it as the winner of this game. I know there's a lot of football left to be played. Puts themselves in a not driver's seat, but in the better position to be one of those teams from the Big Ten. Everybody talks about 4 from the Big Ten, and everybody seems like Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon, unless something drastic happened, are probably going to be 3 of those. There's going to be somebody else. So this is a big early season game between 2 teams and fan bases that think they're that other team or one of those teams in the conversation. So what are the headlines? I'm sorry, long question. What are the headlines for you heading into this week in this game?
So the headlines, as I see it, probably what makes this really interesting is that Illinois and Indiana have played each other when they're both in the top 25. This will be the second time ever that that's happened. The last time it happened was October 28th, 1950, when Illinois was ranked number 12 and they beat number 19 Indiana 20-0 in Champaign. So the only person about that game is Lauren Tate, who's the dean of the Big Ten sports writers. Beyond that, so the 2 big basketball schools are getting to play each other on the football field. That means it will be an interesting bout. Kurt Cignetti is an amazingly good coach. Brett Bielema is an amazingly underrated coach. Mm-hmm. I think the battle between these 2 guys is going to be one of the headlines from this week. And I think it's going to be a big deal. And I think the other thing is which team is going to make the fewest mistakes. Luke Altmaier hasn't thrown an interception. Illinois hasn't fumbled the ball. You've got to maintain that in this game. You can't start turning the ball over, putting your defense in a bad place. And they've also got to keep – the biggest issue is they have to keep that pass rush off of Luke Altmaier. He's been sacked 7 times, and the offensive line has to figure out what to do to keep him upright.
Hype for this game. And you're around Illini Nation, you see it all the time. And I asked Jim Mattson this last week. I asked Kat it as well. If you're used to, if Illinois fans are comfortable yet or trusting yet, if that makes any sense, what is the pulse of Illini Nation right now? Is it anticipation, excitement? Is it fear? How are they approaching one of the biggest games in a long time at the University of Illinois?
Illinois fans are excited. Illinois fans are always seeing doom in the next step because our football team has been so bad. So basically, if you can formulate in your mind a negative scenario, an Illini fan can put that together for the football team, drives Brett Bielema nuts because he had nothing to do with any of these things in the past. So Illinois fans are quietly terrified of what could happen against Indiana, and yet you have Bielema, who is just kind of, well, we're going to go out there and do our best, and he's got a plan for just about everything. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup of 2 of the most unheralded yet best coaches in the Big Ten.
Mike, before we let you go, I kind of want to talk about a little X's and O's in it. And you mentioned that offensive line and trusting the offensive line. When it comes to Indiana, they score and they score a lot, and they score quick, and it's kind of what they do. How does Illinois slow down that offense? Obviously hasn't been tested that much with the teams they played, but Illinois looked good on defense. We gave up 3, you take out the first half against Duke, and this defense has played 10 really good quarters of football. How do they slow down Indiana?
I think the speed, the depth, these linebackers are good. Defensive line has got some depth to it. Gabe Akis is having a fantastic season. We're finding Malachi Hood is having an excellent season. And the defensive backfield, at least, they're a little iffy at one corner. Clark is injured. So that's a problem. But at safety, Illinois is very strong. Matthew Bailey, Quad City's very own. I think Ked would adopt him if he possibly could. But, the defensive backfield's been strong. So Illinois is going to have to go out and play up to their capabilities, and we will see how good Indiana is. They got the transfer at quarterback who looks like he's just as good a fit as last year. So, that's I think Signetti got that taken care of. As far as I'm concerned, Florida can make a run at Signetti and make it easier on all of us in the Big Ten and let him get out of here. But I think this is going to be a battle, and I think Illinois comes in confident that they're going to win, and I think Indiana comes in confident that they are going to win. This is one of those times where you're just going to have to go out there and play. The team that makes the least mistakes is going to win the game.
Can I get you on a pick before I let you go?
I think Illinois. I think Illinois, and I think it's going to be a close game within 4 points.
Okay. We have Mike today. We got Ked coming on later in the show, or not later in the show, but later in the week. God, I can't do both of you guys in the same show. I'd be exhausted. No, and then Jim Madsen later in the week as well to kind of talk about Illinois football. That's, like Cy-Hawk week, Mike, believe it or not, I got a little trouble here in the Quad Cities because people wanted more Illinois, and I get it, but it was the big week and the big game over there. This week, it's a lot with Illinois, so we'll get things covered. Tell people about the Illini guys before I let you go, Mike. How do people check out you guys' content? You're on top of everything. I love during the game at halftime, you hop onto social media or to YouTube and you get a halftime little show, and then you get the post, which it was crazy. Mike, we did a show Saturday night, Sunday morning, and Tom Kakert. We did it at 12:45, and we had 3,000 people watching us at 12:45. And those post pods are fantastic. People want them, especially when they win. Sometimes they want them when you lose, just to have misery loves company. But talk about your content, how people get hooked up with the Illini guys before I let you go.
Yeah, the first thing you can do is you go to IlliniGuys.com. You can subscribe for $99 a year. We have a paywall, so you get everything that's behind the paywall. Most importantly, you get the message boards where you can turn it into an interactive experience. You can ask Ked what he meant in an article. You can talk to Matt Stevens, Brad Sturdy, Larry Smith, or myself. Go back and forth. We have threads where we argue things all the time. It's a great community. That's the first thing. The second way is you can go to YouTube, go to IlliniGuys.com, check out that channel, and you can get all of our content there from a standpoint of videos. We put all of our Eye on the Illini, and our Illini Guys Sports Spectacular radio program is out there for people to watch. And then we do a halftime live that you can get on the IlliniGuys.com YouTube page or a variety of Twitter pages. Additionally, we do our post-game show, but there we go to STL Sports Central. That is a partner down in St. Louis who wanted to start getting into the Illini market and asked us if we would co-work with them. So I call it Eye on the Illini Live / Illini Central. And it is we have a good time there. And you might want to watch this week before the Indiana game, because you just might see the first ever Illini Guys pregame show as we start looking at things like that, because really, we really like, interactions with the fans. People will go back and forth on YouTube with us. We get some of the funniest comments from there. And when things go bad, which thanks to Brett Bielema, we don't have to do near as much. you can get some of the craziest comments of all time. And when Kasparis was having issues with his hand and not shooting well, and Illinois struggled, some of the suggestions from the fans, they're hard to repeat, but they were hilarious.
Sure. No, that's awesome. And Mike, it's all about content, and you guys pump out tons of content. People love that. So best of luck this weekend. I appreciate you doing this, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. Thanks, my man.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
That is Mike Cagley from the Illini guys. Join us as we can start talking about a big week of Illinois football and Illinois, Indiana. It's not basketball anymore, kids. It's a football game, and it's the biggest game in the Big Ten. It's this weekend, Saturday night on NBC. We got a lot more to get to on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Coming up after the break, there were some amazing high school football performances on Friday night, especially between quarterback and wide receiver. We're going to talk to one of those duos from Orion coming up next right here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. It's a football Monday and plenty to talk about. What a great weekend when it comes to pigskin. It started, on Friday night with high school football, college on Saturday. Great day in the NFL yesterday, especially if you're a Lions fan like myself. Friday night, though, ton of fun. If anybody missed it, go check out our Instant Reacts podcast for View from the West. On there with Greg this week and Ty Taylor, several coaches. We do it each and every Friday night. Every Friday night, 10:15, live, get you all the scores, break down everything that's happened. It's been a ton of fun. Great response so far this year. So don't miss out. Join in on the fun. And make sure you're subscribed to View from the West, their YouTube page as well. It all originates out of there. So thankful to be working with Greg and Mitch and those guys, a part of a River Rivals Media that we're launching here in the Quad Cities. So it's been a ton of fun. One thing I saw on Friday night, which was crazy, numbers are always awesome. And doing it for 25 years, you see great stats all the time. And a lot of times in our area, it's running backs with 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns or all that kind of stuff. There were some really good passing nights on Friday. One across the river, Davenport North. We'll talk to them later in the week. But one right over here in Orion, Kale Filler and Owen Voorhees had themselves quite a Friday night. And I'm thankful enough to be joined by both of them right now. Kale, Owen, first and foremost, thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. Congrats on Friday. That seemed like a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I want to read some stats real fast, guys. Kale, you were 18 to 27, 291, 6 touchdowns. The 6 passing touchdowns, a school record. Owen, 11 catches, 205, 5 touchdowns. The 205 is a school record. The 5 touchdowns receiving a school record. I want to say Coach is jipping you here because I think he had a rushing touchdown as well, if I'm not mistaken. But Kale, I guess we'll start with you. What was it about Friday night? And I know this offense has been rolling for a while, but what was it about Friday night that made it a special night?
Last Friday, they just came out, gave us the look we wanted. It's pretty easy when I got a guy like Owen to get the ball to. 2 of my touchdowns were screens. So just getting the ball in his hands and being able to work him in the offense any way we can would made it my job a lot easier. As
it goes, Owen, when are you, and I know kids aren't, but when are you realizing that it's, school record stuff and, you get in there 1, 2, 3, 4 times? Do you lose track? And kind of talk about your Friday night and what it was like for you out there against Mercer County on Friday.
I actually didn't even know I had a school record until right before this show here. Coach Filler had just told me that it was a school record. I didn't even know until today. No, I didn't lose track. I was just focused on the next play at the time. It was a must-win game, so I didn't even really care about the stats. I just wanted to win.
I love the relationship between quarterback and wide receiver. Can you guys talk about yours? I'll start with you, Kale, because obviously it wasn't like you just went out here this year as seniors and started playing football. So what was it like growing up with him? When did you guys realize? When did it become a connection between you two? And I know it's something that you guys have been doing for quite some time.
I feel like it started back when we were in 5th and 6th grade playing YSF with each other. About our 6th grade year, we were actually able to play with each other, be on the same team. And Dave was our coach. He let me throw the ball around. And then the moment once Owen got in the lineup our sophomore year, you could tell that there was a connection within our first game. I think the first pass Owen caught in his first start was a touchdown. So, there was a connection right there immediately between the two of us. And I feel like we're always on the same wavelength since we're around each other so much.
Yeah. Owen, kind of talk about it a little bit, because it's good to have a guy who can get you the football, and you got a pretty good one, don't you?
I do. Really good one. It started in 6th grade, we threw a lot of screens. It wasn't a lot of deep balls, a lot of screens and stuff, but again, screens, 2 of Kale's touchdowns were screens. So, ever since 5th and 6th grade, we've been throwing the ball. Even in middle school, we were throwing the ball, catching touchdowns. So just always kind of been that chemistry around for years.
No, and it's had a lot of success so far. On a game like Friday night, Kale, it's important statistically and all that kind of stuff, and we can kind of reflect back on that, but it was a big game. Mercer County going to their place, as a school, I don't think you guys had been there since 2005 or something like that. There was some stockpile stat. Brian Stacking had something, but a pivotal game for you guys. And I know that we can talk about these kind of things and stats and all those kind of things, but winning's very important. Talk about the ultimate result, because being 2-1 is a lot different than being 1-2. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's a big thing. From Monday, really the moment we ended Monmouth Roseville, that Saturday morning we knew it was a must win. So, the focus was Mercer County, flush what we had the week before, focus on Mercer County, do what we do best. We knew this was a must win. Last 2 years we've started off 1-1, and we weren't able to get that week 3 win. So putting us in the right step forward, looking at our schedule in the future, I feel like we put ourselves in a great spot to get us to a playoff spot, be a top team in our conference, and not just in the conference, but in the state as well. And I do want to mention about Stockpile's stat. Last time we played there was 2014. I was watching the game up on the hill because somebody got ejected the game before and couldn't coach that game. So I wanted to make sure that – I also want to let everybody know that Coach Filler is 1-0 over at George Pratt. So
I love it. And it's funny, we talked about that on the Instant Reacts podcast. Yeah, because I remember your goofy old man who just snuck by here was hanging out. I remember covering it, and he was hanging up above the stadium, kind of watching what was going on and all that kind of stuff. And it's weird because Kale shouldn't have been that long ago. It seems like it was yesterday. When you say 2014, that means I'm getting old, and I don't like that. So let's not pump the brakes. Let's freeze time a little bit. Owen, when you look at this kind of stuff too, it's different in high school football, but maybe it's not, because it's evolving, and it used to be run, pound, pound, pound. People are changing. Teams are changing a little bit. Talk about what you guys do at Orion. And sometimes when you're in high school football, being a wide receiver is not that much fun. It's fun at Orion. And what makes it fun in your guys' offense and what you guys do, Owen?
Well, it makes it fun because we have a good quarterback that can give us the ball that helps us score a lot. I like to run. So throw it up and run. That's probably the funnest part of it. And then it's just fun. Catching the ball is just fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot funner than running the ball, even though we need to be able to run the ball too, but catching the ball is super fun.
No, absolutely. You guys are putting up plenty of points. Owen Voorhees and Kale Filler joining me right now and Off the Air with Matt Randazzo from Orion. The numbers are crazy. 291 and 6 touchdowns for Kale. And then Owen, 11 catches, 205, 5 touchdowns. And we'll mention the receiving touchdown or the rushing touchdown as well for the Chargers on Friday night. Both of you guys, I wanted to talk to you about what's next, because Newman is next, and they're one of the best teams in 1A, ranked undefeated 3-0. But we had Guy Derricks on here last week, and he was quoting Ric Flair, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Is that the way you guys look at it? And maybe I'll start with you, Owen. Is that how you look at this, as a great opportunity on Friday night to see where you guys are at as a football team?
Yes, absolutely. We know they're a good team. Newman's obviously very good. They're strong. They just got 2 kids from Morrison on their state team that are super fast. So it's going to be a challenge, but I think if everybody comes and plays their best, we'll give them a pretty good game.
Absolutely. Kale, this is what you play for, right? Is to play in games like this as a senior with an opportunity. Kind of talk about what you guys might have next.
I mean, Newman's, like Owen said, Newman's going to be a great team. We had an early test week 2 against Monmouth Roseville, who is also a really great team. And I feel like that's not personally, and I feel like as a team that's not known for is, I don't think we're 20 points worse than Monmouth Roseville. I don't think that score reflects what we are. And I feel like this Friday, I feel like it's a winnable game. If me and Owen can be on the same page, and best way for us to win is just for me and Owen to have be able to play catch for 48 minutes straight. So I feel like if we can do that, and then we got a great supporting cast around Owen too. We got Aaron Moore, Griffin Tennant, Max Larson. We got a lot of ways that we can hurt you offensively, and then defense is coming along, I feel like. So if we are able to be disciplined both sides of the ball, do our jobs in Orion, which is a big motive and big quota here, is do your job. If you can do your job this week, I feel like we're going to be really good. We're going to put ourselves in a really great spot to win.
Absolutely. A few more for you guys before I let you go. Owen, the record book is your name when it comes to receiving right now, which is awesome. But you're pretty good on special teams as well. Earlier this year, you had your 4th kickoff return for a touchdown. That's 11th in state history with 4. You said you like to run. Talk about that aspect of it, basically catch and run. But what is it about special teams that you love and makes you guys explosive? Not just yourself, but I know it's that special teams unit as a whole.
Yeah, well, first of all, I can't have 4 returns if I don't got 10 other guys doing their job in front of me, holding blocks and making lanes for me. So I want to thank those guys for helping me out here. But yeah, if I can get the ball where I'm running up on it and I can just hit a lane and go, that's kind of how all my 4 have been. They've just been one cut and go, and I'm gone. But obviously I can't do that without the 10 other guys blocking for me. So
no, absolutely. And hey, get another one. 5 gets you to 5th place. Get 2 more. Let's get a little greedy. Kale, when you look at what you've gotten to do, and somebody, the number, and you might know it, you might not, I can't remember, but it was like 30 some starts already as in high school, which is wild. And it's week 4 coming up, so we have plenty more starts to be had. But talk about the game and how you see it. You're a coach's kid. I remember smacking you around probably a little bit in the sidelines when you were the ball boy and getting cutaways of you and all that kind of stuff. You've lived it. How much has things slowed down for you when it comes to reading defenses, seeing things, knowing what you're doing out there on a football field?
Oh, it's slowing down dramatically. Going from my freshman year to now being a senior after, like you said, I've had 30 starts under my belt. Like, this has been physically, mentally, like, it's slowing down everything. And I feel like I'm in a better spot because of where I've been. And there's been, like, being a coach's kid, you get a lot of grief, I feel like, sometimes. But, I feel like I earned everything I've gotten. None of it's been given to me, and just having him, I didn't have a great freshman year, but then sophomore year, the improvement from my freshman year to my sophomore year, just being able to work with him day in and day out and talk football has made my job so much easier, because I don't have to go out there and question things on a Friday night. I can just go out there and play.
No, absolutely. Before I let you guys go, tell me about this team off the field. Tell me about the fun stuff, the personality behind it. I'm going to start with you, Owen. Is there any superstitions, any goofy things you guys do? Give me some personality when it comes to Orion high school football without getting yourselves in trouble, of course.
I mean, we're all super close. I mean, all of us go hang out one-on-one together and just have a great time. There'd be no awkward moments. It's just a super close and super close-knit team. We're all good friends. We all talk in school, yeah, it's just fun. I mean, all of us are, we could all go out on a Friday night and just have the time of our lives.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's what it's about, Kale, because there was, doubters last year. Numbers were down, all of those kind of things. Numbers are up now. It's great. But when it's small numbers, it's kind of you against the world. Is that kind of the way it's become because, of what you guys have been through together as teammates, where that bond is probably pretty tight right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's not a guy on this team that I don't love right now. And, you talk about the low numbers last year, 20-some guys. I mean, last year, Coach Filler gave us the story of the Junction Boys with the Bear at Texas A&M. So I think we've taken on that name. We like to spread it around with ourselves. The seniors and juniors of this group, I feel like, are the Junction Boys, and there isn't a guy on that team that I don't trust. Like I get a flat out on 150. I know who I'm going to call. I know it, and I know who's going to answer. I know who's going to come and pick me up. So I love every single one of these guys. This senior group that we have, I feel, being around the program for as long as I have been in, is the closest group since before COVID.
That's awesome.
I love every single one of these dudes. We've grown up with each other. We've had off the field issues with each other, and a lot of outside noise with this team in the last 2 years that have just brought us closer together and have made us what we are and made us battle tested, which has helped us out, which I feel like helped us out last Friday night in week 3 and getting a huge win.
Okay, toughest question, boys. If I'm lining up on a 40-yard dash and I'm lining up Chip Filler and Dave Voorhees, who's winning the 40-yard dash? I'm going to start with get your old man back there. I see him popping on here. Nope. You can answer this.
Are you kidding me?
Nope. Go away. Kale, I'll let you go first. Dave and Chip.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now, no offense to my dad, I'm going to have to go Dave.
I love it.
I don't think there's many guys that my dad is losing to in a 40-yard dash. So, me.
Oh, and double down. Give me Dave on both. I love your old man. He's the best.
Yeah, I'm taking my dad. Even he was a track star in high school and college. He ran both. Even though he's got a bum knee right now, he can barely bend it. I'm still gonna take my odds on that.
Chip, it's not against you. It's just for Dave.
Hey, Matt. Who can throw the ball for me or Dave?
That wasn't the question. This is my show, Coach Filler. This is my show. It's not off the air with Chip Filler. Thank God, it's off the air with Matt Randazzo. So, guys, I appreciate it. Kale, go get your old man in line, and then obviously, Owen, tell your entire family I said hi. I went up to do this interview, and my wife was like, "Hey, make sure that Owen tells Haley I said hi. So make sure that you let her know that Jen says hi." I appreciate you both. Best of luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy. Stay doing big things, and hopefully we can talk to you guys down the road once again. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that is Kale Filler and Owen Voorhees rewriting the record books last Friday out at Orion. It was down in Aledo, but with the Orion Chargers. A ton of fun, and always fun to mess around. Filler. That's always a good time. So, all right, that'll do it for this segment. We got a lot more coming up. You're watching Off the Air with Matt Randazzo on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. It is a football Monday, a lot of great action over the weekend, high school, college, NFL as well. And I've behaved myself for the most part throughout the game, or throughout the show, I should say. But it was a busy day in the NFL, and weekend-wise, a lot of great sports going on. So I figure let's do a little Marxy Monday. I'm going to bring in my good friend, John Marx. This could become a thing because I need somebody to – well, if I just sat here by myself, Johnny, and just ranted and raved about how great the Detroit Lions were and putting a 50-piece on Ben Johnson and running the score up. You damn right we ran the score up.
Absolutely.
I would look like an asshole, and nobody wants that. So I figure if I bring you on, I look less, I guess, maybe. I don't know. So first and foremost, thank you for doing this. How was your weekend before we get going on how great my Sunday was?
Spent it in North Dakota State. Love the Fargo Dome. Great experience. Got back tired, gassed. But as you know, I've been doing that for a while. I jump on a plane Saturday mornings and go watch football. So the end is coming. So I'm enjoying every minute. So it's a great experience, and I'm lucky to be able to do it.
It's a good tired, right? You know what I mean? It's one of those good tireds where, like, yeah, you might be dragging, but you're dragging for all the right reasons. So,
yes.
Well, let's talk a little football because there was a game and I was the week one overreactions in all sports, but especially in the NFL are wild. And last week the narrative was the Lions are bad on offense and a bad football team now, and that the Bears were awful. Well, one of them may not have been an overreaction, but I guess before I get ranting and raving, your thoughts on the 52-21, 31. Like, that doesn't happen in the NFL anymore. Like, there's no blowouts are very rare. The Bears got their butts kicked yesterday in Motown, didn't they, Johnny?
Absolutely. And take that 3 steps further. The Bears are in trouble defensively because of the run. And Ben Johnson, look, I liked when they played with pace early in a football game, and they should have continued to do that. It's hard to do that when you are your defense couldn't stop anybody. I've seen this happen with what they have. Dennis Allen has some work to do. They as a whole have some work to do. But let's take it to the other side. Jared Goff was amazing. My goodness. Plus, he had time to throw the football. We know that. Amon-Ra St. Brown is elite. And he just proved it. And the demise of the Detroit Lions offensive line is wholly exaggerated, Matty. They're good. They're going to be good. And it was nice to see them at full strength defensively. Jack Campbell can play in the NFL for all you Iowa fans. If there was ever a doubt, he proved it yesterday. Sideline to sideline, the fumble recovery after the guy put the helmet on the ball. DeAndre Swift, feel free to hang on to it. Even though the Bears escaped that, I think that took the wind out of whatever sails they had. The Lions adjusted to everything offensively. The genius that Ben Johnson is early, and then the Bears were just hanging on for dear life. And did Dan Campbell run it up? Absolutely. But remember, you're in the NFL, and if you can run it up, you have to run it up. That's the nature. This is worse than 1993, 4, 5 NCAA football, where a guy you had to score 60. You had to throw a 60 spot on somebody to help your rankings the following week.
Yeah.
So that's the NFL storylines are not the Bears or the demise of the Lions, which is not going to happen. The storylines are, will the Chiefs find a way to move the football without Rashee Rice, and hopefully Workman or Worthy is 100% this coming week. Their offensive line is a bit of a patchwork type situation. There are Joe Burrow. Can Jake Browning hold things intact for?
That looks like 3 months.
I don't think so. Yeah, for 3 months.
Like 3 months.
So,
and that's a big deal around these parts too, Johnny, because I know the Lions play Cincinnati. I think all the local, the NFC North teams play that division, so they play Cincinnati. I think the Lions play them in 2 weeks. So back to the Bears for a second, though, and you're right, they did. They ran up the score. It was personal, and it goes back to the offseason. And I didn't hate it. It's fine, but I thought that Ben was a little too
smug,
arrogant and smug when he got the job. And I get it, and he took the jab at LaFleur and Packer fans, and ever so often at the Lions and Jared Goff here and there, and Jared remembers that, and he heard it, and there's still friendship and all that kind of stuff. But he tried, in my opinion, to be Dan Campbell before Dan Campbell was Dan Campbell. And let me explain that. When Dan Campbell came in and everybody biting kneecaps off, everybody thought he was a moron and laughed at it. It probably was because there wasn't a track record yet. So Dan had to prove that track record, and now he's Dan Campbell. Just 4 years ago, he's an idiot. Now he's Dan Campbell. And I thought that Ben tried to do that a little bit too much. And then bottom line is they just onside kicked. Like, if we're going to not stop playing, but we're going to call off the dogs, then there's no reason to onside kick and do those kind of things. So you keep playing, and it became very personal. And I thought Ben was maybe a innocent victim, not innocent, but a victim of just the media and what happened last week. The Lions heard all week that they weren't very good. Their offense couldn't do anything without Ben Johnson. He was the reason their offense did what they did. So I think that was the way of also reminding the world that, like, hey, we can do stuff okay without Ben Johnson. Caleb Williams, where are you at with Caleb Williams?
I've never been a fan, and I know I've dealt with people that couldn't wait for him to get first.
You're going to get yelled at. There's some Bears fans you can't say that still to. They love that man.
A Bears fan from infancy. So tell them, come on.
Yeah.
I remember Rudy Bukic, Jack Kincannon, Bobby Douglas, etc. So all they want. I'm not a fan, and I never have been. I still think he's, they 20 touchdowns and six interceptions. Yes, because he hung on to the football forever. I still think he gets happy feet. I still don't like the way he calls his cadence. The early jump by the lineman cost them in trying to get a touchdown. I'm not sold, and I won't be until he becomes that elite guy that takes over a team and makes up for the deficiencies elsewhere. So complain all you want. I don't care. Again, I was as huge a Bear fan as anything. And I do have one more thing. I was with somebody from the Green Bay Packers administration Saturday. And just so you all know, the Micah Parsons deal was in the works. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing. Folks, that's been going on maybe since February.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, Johnny, back on Caleb for a second too, because you can be critical because you're a Bears fan, and that's okay. I'm just the hating Lions guy, and I sat there and I didn't, but I try, I really do. I really do try to.
You giggled the whole day, big boy.
No, but I do. But I try when they try something different, I try to give it a chance. Mitch, I gave it a chance. Although Mitch from the jump, I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's see it. And from the jump with Justin Fields, I was like, this doesn't like. Here's the only thing I didn't like about Justin Fields from the beginning.
Trubisky
is the Ohio State quarterback thing, and they never pan out, and that's the only thing. And then with Fields, I just didn't know. So anyways, I've had an open mind. I want to see it. I'm trying to give him a chance. But you're right. It's the pre-snap penalties. They'll score, Johnny. They will score their first drive every single game. If you're a gambler, go out there and put money on touchdown first resort. Because when you script for him, he does okay. He's fine. He's got all the talent in the world. I get it. I understand all that. But when it comes to having to think on his own and do, I get the offensive line took a beating last year and they were horrible. The guy holds on to the ball too long. Like he just flat out does. He doesn't get through his progressions. He doesn't get to where he needs to be. Does he make that play that has you go, wow? Like, and he had one yesterday. He was scrambling one way, dropped down underneath, threw a touchdown pass to Rome Odunze. By the way, Rome Odunze is the best play on the Bears already right now. Like that's that'll get you going. Wow, that's awesome. But he's not there. And I won't start putting dirt on the grave yet. But man, he's got to figure it out and figure it out quickly. I also, Johnny, I didn't like Ben Johnson's calls. Like I didn't love the fourth down in your own, like that deep. Like, and if you're gonna run 4th and inches, you got a 6-foot quarterback, and you're gonna run a quarterback sneak. Like you have a 6-foot quarterback.
Why'd you run sneak on 3rd down?
Yes.
There's the other thing.
Yeah.
Again, I struggled with, and then going with it at the 38. I know it's 70% in today's world compared to 40% of 10 years ago when you didn't go for things. But and just because Dan Campbell's on the other side, you punt the football, you play football, you field position. Look, I understand the punting of the football a little. I know I watch when college coaches do it. I have for 4 years. So and watch the snapper run out there and throw a dime. But that's part of the game. Trust the guy who you have the best punter in the NFL, maybe the world. Yeah. And so trust him, let him do his job, and then play field position on the road. And you take some pressure off some things. Now your defense, one little mistake and is 21-7 before you know it.
Johnny,
so, as far as Caleb Williams, he's not ready.
Let's wrap up the Bears stuff with I wanted to talk about Ryan Poles. Because his introductory press conference, we're going to take the North, never give it back. I think he's 3-100 since then or whatever. And you look at his track record, everything, and I know you'll agree, is just, it's off. They didn't fire Eber. Jim Harbaugh should be the head coach, Johnny. Jim Harbaugh should be the Bears head coach right now. You know, and then I'd have my offensive coordinator. Everybody would be happy. Wouldn't be dealing with this. But everything just seems off. And with him, like you have Montez Sweat, who's making a ton of money. That's not a factor. The defense didn't look great. Obviously, they gave up 52. I know Jalen Johnson, who's a really good cornerback, like an elite cornerback, got hurt in that game, had to leave. TJ Edwards leaves and those type of things. But I don't think that changes the fact that 50 points. And if you look at the last 5 quarters, oh boy, because they gave up, 21? In the fourth quarter against the Vikings. So if you go 21, 73 points in the last 5 quarters of football. I know we're going to talk about Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and the offense and all those kind of things. By the way, DJ Moore disappeared. He's flat out disappeared. And Colston Loveland, the Warren kid looks really good for the Colts right now. Now, mind you, it's 2 games into a freaking career, so I don't want to get carried away. Anyways, let's stay on defense. What on that side? And then Ryan Poles in general, Johnny, at some point, this guy's got to have some accountability for what's going on in an organization, doesn't he? They've lost 12 of their last 13 games.
Matty, what is the Philadelphia Eagles record? It's 2-0, correct? Yep. And they're the defending Super Bowl champions. Check the transaction wire over the last 18 days. 5 trades? 4 trades?
Yeah, Zadarius Smith.
Identified needs. There are bodies out there that need work. Come on. If you are the general manager, There is a line of deficiency with your backup linebacking group and your front linebacking group that struggled against the Vikings. Again, Howie Roseman knows how to make a deal, and they're 2-0 and headed back to the Super Bowl according to all the experts. But they don't stand pat. Well, what has Ryan Poles, who's a genius, I rest my case, done in the last 16 days to better his football team?
Yeah.
So
No, I
again, options out there. You need to find deficiencies and you need to make them efficiencies. And I don't think they have or will. And again, all Bears fans, go ahead, let me know. But I don't think they have they're never going to find the right quarterback. That's the life of being a Bears fan. Jim McMahon's not going to come out of retirement.
It'll be interesting. They now play Week 18, Lions and Bears, and it is 2 games into a
right.
new coaching change and all that. I understand all of that. And
they'll be fine.
And you have to give it a chance and all those kind of things. But again, do it with some modesty, and then you don't get blasted week 2. You don't get blasted by the media. You don't get blasted by the fans. You don't get blasted by your former team who's just flat out pissed off because you acted like a little prick when you got a job. And so that's what ended up happening. And so just pump the brakes, go to work, do the things that Dan Campbell taught you to do the last 4 years when it comes to set up a culture, set up a toughness, all those kind of things. You can go for it on 4th down all you want. You got to have the pieces and the players to do it. And that's why the Lions go for it a lot, is because they think that their guys are better than your guys to get 3 yards. And if they're not, punt the football.
And they are right now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I get it. Packer fans are watching this going like, the Packers kicked your ass. I get all that kind of things. And they do look like in that division. I'll do this real quick, Johnny. I don't know if that division – everyone talked about how that division was amazing. I think the Packers are really good. I think the Lions are still real good. I don't know if the Bears and Vikings, because of the quarterback situation. I mean, J.J. McCarthy was bad last night. He's been the same thing. 1 good quarter, 7 bad quarters. Yeah, they got a victory, but a little iffy on that. One more thing.
I'll leave you with this. A year ago, maybe a month, maybe 13 months ago, after watching some things, I thought Tyson Bagent was the best quarterback in that room. I still believe that today.
Yeah. No, there's people, God bless social media, there's people calling for him yesterday. Before I let you go, I want to go right to volleyball, because you and I, you allowed me to do some MC22 with you last Tuesday night, and we knew it was going to be a good one. Top 5 teams, Pleasant Valley and North Scott, go head-to-head. I'd never seen a volleyball game like that. The excitement, the energy was awesome. Pleasant Valley dominated, really good team. Dominated, I think, 25-9, 25-8 the first 2 games. Yep. And we sat there midway through game 3, and we were talking about players of the game, and it looked over. And North Scott comes back, wins 29-27, wins the next game like 26-24, something along those lines, and then wins in 5, 15-11. Johnny, I just wanted to, like, you've been around a lot of high school sports. That was one of the best events that we've gotten to be around.
Never seen it before, Matty. And the defending 5A state champion, phenomenal team in Pleasant Valley. And then North Scott, we know semis last year, I believe, and then the state championship the year before. We knew as Brian Schubert, who's a tremendous volleyball coach, shows his wife. I think she's better, and he'll tell you that. He's been there before. He will tell you that before, when you and I saw him and he and I were sitting down going over starters and stuff, he goes, at the end, post game, we always like to have you on. And I preface it by saying, if you win, and he goes, we will win. And I will talk to you tonight. And I thought 25-9, 25-8, not a chance, Brian. I love you. He's a great dude. And I love your enthusiasm toward your club, but there was no chance. And then, Pleasant Valley, I thought Matty just simply ran out of gas. There was no zip, but they were up 5 in set 3 with a chance to put it away. And then Mackenzie Moeller decided, hey, I'm just going to jump to the top of the ceiling, and they're going to pass to me very well. Everyone else is going to play great defense, and they did. And that was as cool. And as you said prior, the pit was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was what a great environment to start with. And that was as exciting a high school event as I've done in the last 20 years.
And Johnny, it's funny because, ever so often we don't mind a sweep. Like, if we get to go home
No.
early, it's not the worst thing.
Absolutely.
I was super glad that we got to stay for 5. Really good volleyball. Fun doing it with you. We appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you for allowing me to do that. I get to do a little football with you coming up a week from this Friday. I think it's Riverdale and Orion. Talk about 2 head coaches that we can make fun of the whole time. Guy Derricks and Chip Filler. Here you go. Let's go. So we'll have plenty
And
to talk about.
contrasting styles.
Yes.
God bless Guy Derricks in the wing tee and Chip Filler. Why not? You've got a great quarterback. Throw that thing all over the house.
Yeah, we just got done talking to Kale Filler and Owen Voorhees in the last segment. They like to throw it around. They're rewriting the record books out there as well. So, Johnny, we appreciate you. Marksy Monday. This might become a thing. I'll talk
okay
to you
with
again
that.
next week. I'll get you on the
Love you,
payroll.
pal.
I'll see if my wife has any room for you. So, all right, my friend. We'll talk to you
Love you,
soon.
pal.
Thanks, pal. All right, that is John Marx talking a little bit of everything, but I had to chat with somebody about the old Bears and Lions game on Sunday. It was an enjoyable Sunday, and I behaved myself. I don't think last week I got a lot of text messages from Packers fans. And it's ironic to me because I'm not that guy that, like, when my team wins, jumps to my phone and starts making fun of the other team's fans. So I thought it was annoying. So this week I behaved myself and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's going to be a long season. Not long season. It is a long season when it comes to football, and things change. And I will tell Bears fans this: Dan Campbell's second year, he was 1-6, and everybody was excited going into that season that it was going to be different. And it wasn't for the first 7 weeks. And then they won 7. I think they lost 2 more games all year, went 9-8, almost made the postseason. They learned how to win, and you can watch them learn how to win throughout the season. But in that 1-6 start, there were so many close games and just misses. It's tough, I get it. Bears fans, you have a big lead that you blow in week 1, and then you just get destroyed at Ford Field yesterday. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ben Johnson, that staff, now you got to coach, not just call plays. You got to coach. You got to culture in the locker room, get guys on the same page, make sure everybody's all together, and move forward. And the schedule's not easy for the Bears, not easy for anybody in that division at all. So we'll see where things go. Just 2 weeks into the season, but there was a stat on TV yesterday. Only 12% of teams that start 0-2 make the postseason. So the Bears with an uphill climb. We'll see what they can do. By the way, the announcers yesterday were awful. Jonathan Vilma is awful when it comes to, and I don't do that because I do that kind of stuff, and criticism's criticism. But I even joked with my son. I said he's the one he'll just mispronounce names and get people completely wrong. And Brian Branch is one of the best safeties in football, and he kept on calling him Deion Branch. And my son's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, no, 15 years ago, there was a wide receiver for the Patriots named Deion Branch, and for some reason, that's who is on the field today. So I digress. So anyways, we'll wrap up a fun Monday edition of Off the Air right after this. We'll be right back. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? You know, that fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities, a jam-packed Monday, a fun Monday, excuse me, that it has been. Doing better this week, which is a beautiful thing. The pneumonia is getting there. Starting to feel like myself. I'm going to use my cough button, though, here for a second. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Anyways, welcome back. Couple things. I'm just reading social media during the breaks, and there is that narrative out there that Caleb Williams played well yesterday. I mean, I don't understand. It's the Bears media. It's not the media. It's their beat writing, like blog fanboy guys that are just, pluses. Robin Dunze. Yes, Rome was very good. Caleb Williams. What? Like they had their first drive, which was a miscommunication, and they came down, scored a touchdown. Other than that, they scored one other time. I mean, they scored 21, should have been an interception, but turned the ball over, missed receivers. Whatever. I mean, maybe he's great. Anyways, enough of that. I do one more thing before we let you go. I want to make sure we get to our Skiles Driving School drive of the week. Each week, we're going to take a look at a drive from Friday night that encapsulated a changing point, big play, big moment. Last week, it was Rock Ridge, their game-winning drive in Princeton against Princeton. This week we're going to go to up to Sterling for one, and we'll get to our Skiles Driving School drive of the week, and it comes in Sterling with Moline. They got the ball back with like a minute to go. This is late before the half. Mark Carey goes 45 yards with 1 second left in the first half. So 3-play drive. But obviously the big one's right here. 45-yard touchdown run by Mark Carey. That is your Skiles Driving School drive of the week. Our good friends at Skiles Driving School. If you have a young one looking to learn how to drive, make sure you contact them. You saw the number. You know the website as well. Go check them out if you're looking to drive yourself, or if you got a young person getting ready to go through driver's ed and all those kind of things. SkilesDriving.com is where to head. So we thank them for their support of Off the Air, and that is your drive of the week. So that kind of wraps up a fun Monday here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Julian Vandervelde was outstanding. If you guys missed him, get several text messages and messages on social media about how good Julian was. Absolutely. I've known that for 20 years now. Julian's the best of the best. So go check his thoughts and memories of being around Kirk Ferentz and now the Big Ten's all-time winningest head coach. So check that out. Mike Cagley from the Illini guys joining us. We're going to talk a lot of Illinois football this week. Ken Prince later in the week. Jim Matson later in the week. Illinois and Indiana, huge game coming up on Saturday. We got you locked and covered right here on OTA. Also, a lot of fun with the Orion duo of Kale Filler and Owen Voorhees rewriting the record books on Friday. Now they get Newman this week, so it'll be a big game in the track. We'll talk about that game with Ty Taylor on Wednesday. Going to get Ty to come in here. I don't know if Ty's listening. He should listen every day, but we're going to get Ty to stop by if everybody's feeling good, stop by and join me in studio coming up on Wednesday as well. And then, of course, John Marx talking a little NFL with me. I was trying not to be too bad today, but the Lions just absolutely pounded the Bears yesterday, and I was there for it. I was loving it. I appreciated that. It was a lot of fun. So anyways, and of course your Skiles Driving School drive of the week as well. So busy show today. Tomorrow, a programming note. We're going to have a show. I got to go to Iowa City for some radio responsibilities, if you will, in the morning. So we're shooting for a 1 o'clock show. On YouTube, on X. You can check it out on all the podcasting platforms after that as well. So instead of 10 a.m., will be a 1 p.m. show tomorrow, off the air with Matt Randazzo. So make sure you join us for that. Wednesday, we'll have Mark Nessler and his guest stuff. We'll have Jake Brend. We'll have Ty Taylor. I know Iowa State's on a bye, but we still got to talk a little Cyclones as well. On the road this week as well, and I haven't figured it out yet. So if you got any thought processes, high schools out there where you want me to take the show on the road to, week 1 we went to Pleasant Valley, week 2 we went to Geneseo. We have Moline set up for Rocky Moline. I believe that's coming up in 2 weeks from Friday, I think. That's when we'll go to Moline. Week 8, we're going to go to UT. I'm excited about that one. That'll be Moline UT. So we got some of them already planned. I don't have this week's planned out yet. Started looking at them during the show a little bit, but I'm trying to focus on the show. So if you got any thoughts or where you want us to take the show to, we'd love to come see you. My good friend Tim O'Nearians will bring the party trailer, bring some food. We'll have a party. It'll be a blast. So let me know, and we'll let you guys know tomorrow where we're going to head out on Friday as well. Don't forget the Iowa Hawkeyes play Rutgers on Friday night. So the Hawkeye Tailgate Show this week will be live from Big Grove Brewery, in Iowa City, 5 p.m. So make sure you stop out and join us at Big Grove on Friday at 5. Iowa Rutgers on Friday night. Illinois Indiana on Saturday night. Lions are on Monday Night Football next week. I believe the Bears and Cowboys might be in primetime next week as well. So we got a lot to get to. It's going to be another fun week here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank the sponsors, as always, for allowing me to do this goofy little show. And we'll be back coming up tomorrow. Remember, a later start, 1 p.m. tomorrow for Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. We'll see you guys then.